Hello students, welcome you all in the lecture series of strength of material. Today we are going to discuss our next topic, which is torsion or pure torsion. Okay. A shaft or a member is assumed to be in pure torsion when it is subjected to two equal and opposite couple in the plane of cross sectional area. Okay. So first of all we have to understand what is the difference between torsion and bending. Okay. Let us say I am taking the example of a shaft. Okay. First of all, what is shaft? Shaft is a member, okay, which is widely used in engineering application to transmit the power. Okay. Power transmitted from one point to another point, from a motor to a machine, okay, or from engine to the rear axle of an automobile, or from a turbine to the electric generator. Okay. So, shaft is a kind of member which is used to transmit the power from one end to the another end. Okay. So, if we have a shaft and we are rotating, this shaft is rotated from this point, from point A, then it will rotate up to point B. So, with the help of that one we can transmit the power. Power is equal to P is equal to T into omega. Okay. So, with the help of shaft we can transmit the power. Okay. So, what is torsion? Torsion torsion, when we are calling it is a it as a pure torsion when it is subjected to, when a shaft is subjected to two equal and opposite couple in the plane of cross sectional area. Okay. So, if this is a shaft, then the cross sectional area is this one and plane of cross sectional area is this one. Okay. So, we can say from here that this is the plane of cross sectional area, and if two equal and opposite couple, okay, if we have applied one force here and other force here, then they are going to rotate the member, then they are going to rotate the member. Okay. Then they are going to produce a moment in the plane of cross sectional area. Okay. Means about this axis, we are having the moment. Okay. About this axis all the elements are rotating. In case of bending, what happened in case of bending? We are having two equal and opposite moment in the plane of the axis of the member. Okay. So, this is the plane of the axis of member. If we have this kind of moment, then this is called as the pure bending. If we are having moment in the plane of cross sectional area, then such phenomena is known as the torsion. Okay. So, what is torsion? Torsion means when we are having two equal and opposite couple in the plane of cross sectional area, then such phenomena is known as the torsion, or which is also known as the twisting. Okay. So, likewise in the bending, here also we have to develop one equation which is known as the torsion equation. Okay. So, we will understand each and every point very clearly. Let us say we are having a shaft, okay, we are having a shaft which is fixed at one end, and free at the other end, which is fixed at one end and free at other end. Okay. So, we are having a shaft, this is the axis of the shaft, we can draw the cross sectional view also. Let us say the cross section is circular. So, we have drawn the cross section of the shaft also. Okay. Generally the shaft is hollow or solid circular section. The shaft is having hollow or the solid circular section. Okay. So, we have applied two equal, means we have applied one couple here, means force into perpendicular distance, one couple here, force into perpendicular distance, then this is rotating, but the rotation is occurring in the plane of cross sectional area. Okay, try to understand that this is the plane of cross sectional area. Everything is happening in the plane of cross sectional area. So the rotation is occurring about an axis which is perpendicular to the cross sectional area. But in case of bending the in case of bending, the rotation was occurring. Okay, this was the bending equation diagram. In case of this one, we have two equal and opposite couple in the plane of axis of member. So generally we can say that the rotation is occurring occurring about this axis. Okay, so this axis, what we can say, this axis is nothing but the neutral axis. Okay, this axis is nothing but neutral axis. So we can differentiate from here that if this is the cross sectional area, then in case of bending the rotation is occurring, the revolution is occurring around, the tendency of revolution is about an axis which is passing through the cross sectional area, means the neutral axis. But in case of twisting, the twisting is occurring about an axis which is perpendicular to the cross sectional area. Means twisting is occurring, this is the cross section, twisting is occurring about an axis which is perpendicular to the cross sectional area, but in case of bending it is occurring about the neutral axis. Okay, so this is the basic difference. Now what we are doing, we are applying a moment, or we can say we are applying the twisting moment. There in bending we are having bending moment, in twisting we are having twisting moment. We have applied one twisting moment here, twisting moment here, we have applied twisting moment here, in we are applied twisting moment about an axis which is perpendicular to the cross sectional area. So what will happen? Okay, what will happen, we can observe from here that one end is the fixed end, other end is the free end. So what will happen, let's say we have taken one strip. Okay, and strip we are taking the outer circle. Okay, strip means the circular strip. Now we are taking the circular strips, and the outermost radial, outermost surface will have let's say in the initial position before application of the twisting moment. Okay, we have taken one circular section. Okay, we are taking the outermost section. Okay, we are taking the outermost section. Then what will happen, let's say this is point A and this one is point B. So after the application of the twisting moment, what will happen, this B point will shift towards the application of moment. Let's say this is shifted to B dash, this is shifted to B dash, but and A is fixed end, so it will remain same. Okay, so A dash will coincide at A A dash will coincide at A, and B is shifted to B dash. Okay, now one important point is the angle subtended by these 2 points, point B to point B dash, is known as the angle of twist. Okay, so this angle is known as this angle. Okay, this angle, let's say the angle is theta. So theta is angle of twist. Okay, we can observe from here that if we can observe from here that if the end section is rotated by certain bending moment, then point B is shifted to point B dash, angle subtended by these 2 points at the center is known as the angle of twist, and this angle of twist decreases. Okay, we can say this angle of twist decreases while moving from free end to the fixed end. We can observe that this strip will decrease, this strip will decrease, or the angle subtended by these 2 points at the center will decrease while moving towards the fixed end. So we can say that from here one thing we can observe that we can observe that theta is angle of twist, angle of twist, and this theta is directly proportional to L, where L is the length of the shaft. L is the length of the shaft. Okay, while moving from here to here, this angle theta is increasing at each and every section. Okay, at this section theta is small, at this section theta is having its maximum value. Okay, theta is having its maximum value. Okay, now this angle is known as the shear angle, which is denoted by phi. Okay, so what is phi? Phi is the shear angle, and we have studied that shear angle is equal to the shear strain. Okay, we have that part we have already studied. So now the variation of this shear angle, this variation of shear angle we can observe from here, that while moving from center point to the outward direction, this angle, if we are having this point, we have taken two radial points, let's say point here and point here. Okay, so this phi angle is varying with respect to r. This phi angle is varying with respect to r. Okay, so we can say that phi is directly proportional to r. Okay, theta is directly proportional to L, and phi is directly proportional to r. Okay, this point we can also observe from here. We have taken two sections, we have taken two sections we have taken two sections, and we have taken two sections here, one is smaller radial and other one is the larger radial, and this one is rotating with an angle of theta. Here we are connecting this point to this point, and what will happen if we have taken one section in the middle, then this angle is subtended and this point connecting to the center point. Okay, now what we have done, we have taken two sections, one section at this location and one section at this location. From here we can observe that for theta, okay, for theta, this is theta and this is theta dash. From here we can observe that theta is greater than theta dash, theta is greater than theta dash. While moving from here to here, theta is increasing, means angle of twist is increasing. Now the shear angle, what about the shear angle? Okay, this is the, now the shear angle is constant for the length, shear angle is constant for this particular length, and shear angle is varying, how this is varying? This is varying like if we have observed this one. Okay, so connecting to this point, this is phi dash and this is phi. So if we are going towards the center, this phi is decreasing. Okay, so we can say that phi is greater than phi dash. So we can observe from here that theta is directly proportional to L and phi is directly proportional to r. Okay, this phi is the shear angle, phi is shear angle, or we can say that corresponding to this shear angle we can have the shear strain, then or we can have the shear stress, which will always be maximum when we are having the outer section. Okay, so these values, the shear stress will always be maximum at the point which is far away from the center. Okay, so the phi is maximum, shear stress is maximum at the outer section. is maximum at the outer section. Okay. So from here we have observed that this theta angle of twist is directly proportional to L, and this shear angle phi is directly proportional to R. Now we are taking this triangle A B B dash. A B B dash means the triangle A B B dash, this triangle. Okay, this length we can observe that this is very small length, so we can assume this one as a line, and the value of this length will be equal to, let's say, R is the radius of the shaft, then R d theta, this length will be R d theta. Now the tan phi will be equal to tan phi will be equal to B B dash divided by AB. This tan phi will be equal to B B dash divided by AB, and this B B dash is nothing but R theta. Okay, and the phi is very small, then we can write tan phi as a phi equal to this is R into theta divided by L, R into theta divided by L. Phi shear angle equal to the shear strain. So the gamma equal to R theta by L. Okay. Now we have also taken some assumptions. Okay, I will discuss those assumptions later. As per the Hooke's law is valid for the derivation. We have assumed that then shear stress is equal to the shear stress is directly proportional to shear strain, equal to G into shear strain. Then gamma will be equal to tau by G. Gamma we can equate equal to R theta by L. From here we can say that tau by R is equal to G theta by L. Tau by R is equal to G theta by L. Tau by R is equal to G theta by L. Okay, this R we have taken for the outermost surface. So the shear stress will be maximum. From where we can say that tau is directly proportional to R. Whenever at an intermediate surface we have to take, then we will take that location or the location of that strip. For this one we are having the maximum value, then tau will be maximum. When R is equal to capital R, then tau will be tau maximum, and other quantities are G is the material property, this means this one is the modulus of rigidity, theta is the angle of twist, and L is the length of the shaft. Okay. Now the second part of this derivation is in the cross sectional view. Okay, if the material is having twisting, the cross section will deform, and cross section will deform. If the cross section will deform, then it will offer one resisting twisting moment. Okay, and that resisting twisting moment is we are taking that one as a TR. Okay, resisting twisting moment we are taking as a TR. Okay, so if at a particular strip that particular strip is providing one resisting moment, from here we can also observe that corresponding to tau we have R corresponding to we can say that tau is maximum when R is equal to capital R, when tau is having the intermediate value when R is equal to this small r. Okay, or we can say this is tau dash. Okay, from here we can also observe that corresponding to maximum value of radius we are having tau maximum, corresponding to intermediate value we are having intermediate value of the shear stress. Okay, so from here we are observing that the cross sectional area will deform, and due to deformation it will produce one resisting moment, and that resisting twisting moment is let's say the resisting twisting moment is TR, and this will occur dF multiplied by this strip is providing one resisting force which is dF, and dF multiplied by R. We have taken strip at a location R, okay, at a location R. So this differential dTr equal to dF multiplied by R, where Tr is resisting twisting moment, okay. So this dTr, why we have taken differential Tr? Because this Tr, this resisting twisting moment is varying with respect to radius, okay. So this dF will be equal to dF, we can write corresponding to that radius shear stress, okay, shear stress multiplied by area multiplied by R, okay. And this shear stress we can write, we have also observed that corresponding to R we are having tau dash, corresponding to tau maximum we can say tau is corresponding to R. So we can also observe from here that tau dash by tau is equal to R by R, or tau dash is the shear stress at a intermediate location, okay. Location means the strip wise, if we have taken the maximum value, then this one is the maximum shear stress. At an intermediate position we have tau dash, so this will be equal to tau by R into tau, okay. This maximum value is always written as tau. So from here we can replace this tau dash, R by capital R into tau into R into dA. From here we can write that tau by R, R square dA, okay, dTr integrating, this R is varying from 0 to capital R. So tau by R integration 0 to R, R square dA, and this R square dA is the polar moment of inertia, okay, because or we can say this is also the second moment of area about an axis, centroidal axis, which is perpendicular to the cross section, okay, perpendicular to the cross section, because occurring in this way, okay. So this one will be equal to tau by R into, this is denoted by J, this is denoted by J. J is the polar moment of inertia, okay. So what is polar moment of inertia? Let's say we are having one circular section. This part you have studied in the engineering mechanics, okay. If we are having any circular section, then circular cross section, then there are two axes which are passing through the cross section, x, y, y. Corresponding to this one, moment of inertia is I x x. Corresponding to this one, we are having I y y, and corresponding to an axis which is perpendicular to the cross section is I z z, okay. And this I z z is nothing but I x x plus I y y, okay, by using the perpendicular axis theorem, which you have studied in the engineering mechanics. For circular section, this I x x is pi by 64 d to the power 4. This I y is also pi by 64 d to the power 4. Finally, I z z, or polar moment of inertia, is equal to pi by 32 d to the power 4, okay. So this is the polar moment of inertia about an axis which is perpendicular to the cross section, okay. So from here we are having Tr is the resisting, so so we can observe T by R is by J is equal to tau by R, okay, tau by R. Now equating these two equations, tau by R, that was the first equation, this is the second equation. By combining these two equations, we can write tau by R is equal to Tr by J is equal to g theta by L, where tau is the shear stress, where tau is the shear stress at the location when r is equal to capital R. Okay, Tr is the resisting twisting moment, J is the polar moment of inertia, that is moment of inertia about the n axis which is perpendicular to the cross section, G material property, theta angle of twist, L length of the member. In generalized way it is written as tau by R is equal to T by J is equal to G theta by L, G theta by L. So this is the twisting equation. Okay, where tau is the shear stress at the location when r is equal to small r. Okay, and this shear stress we can observe in the cross sectional area view. Okay, how it is, this shear stress is linear, is having linear variation from the center. Okay, so this is shear stress variation. Okay, this is the variation of shear stress. In case of twisting, the shear stress variation can be observed in the cross sectional view. So this is the tau maximum and this is the intermediate value, we can say this is tau. Okay, corresponding to r we are having tau maximum, and corresponding to small value of r we can have tau. So from here we can say that tau maximum by tau is equal to capital R by small r. Okay, in certain questions the maximum value is given, okay, radius is given, and it will ask to calculate the value of shear stress at a certain radius, okay. So this is the twisting equation. Okay, there are two terms are very important, tau by R is equal to T by J is equal to G theta by L. Okay, then we can write first two terms, tau by R is equal to T by J, tau by R is equal to T by J, then tau is equal to T J by R, and this J by R, okay, this J by R is known as the, in case of bending we are having the section modulus, here we are having J by R as a polar section modulus, when R is equal to, means we can say the maximum value. Okay, the maximum value. So J by R is the polar section modulus. Okay, now another term, that is T by J is equal to G theta by L, then T is equal to T by theta is equal to G J by L, T by theta is equal to G J by L. This one we have taken the second and the third term. This T by theta is known as the torsional stiffness. Okay, this T by theta is known as the torsional stiffness. Okay, torsional stiffness. Why this is known as the torsional stiffness? Because torsional stiffness is amount of torque required to produce one unit deformation. Okay, likewise the spring, what happened in the spring, if we have applied one force here, then it is equal to F upon this one will be equal to, if we are having, then mg means F acting in the downward direction, then K into X will occur here, then F divided by X is nothing but K, which is known as the simple stiffness of the spring. Okay, means the amount of force required to produce unit deformation is stiffness. Here we are having torsional stiffness, means amount of torque required to produce unit angular twist. Okay, amount of torque required to produce unit angular twist. Okay, So this part we have to remember. Then Gj, this Gj is also known as this Gj is also known as the torsional rigidity. Okay, rigidity. Okay, so these points we have to remember. Polar moment of inertia, polar section modulus. Polar moment of inertia is J by R, polar section modulus. Then T by theta, torsional stiffness. Gj is the torsional rigidity. Okay, so this is it for today. Thank you.